हाँ, स्वच्छंदा शेखर जी.
Razdanji is not there, no?
Razan ji is not there. Maybe he will join
Okay.
late.
Okay, okay, fine. So the next Nama is Swachhanda. Swachhanda, we understand the word from a very simplistic dictionary point of view as independent. So Devi who is independent because there is no dependency for for her to exist on anything else, for her to function on anything else, because everything springs forth from uh, the supreme consciousness itself. But we all know that this term has a very esoteric meaning, especially in the Trika Sampradaya, because it is one of the uh, major uh, names by which the supreme consciousness or Bhairava is known. Swachhanda Bhairava. So while giving the explanation for this word Swachhanda in the Swachhanda Tantra, Acharya Kshemaraja, he gives a vyakhyana for the word Swachhanda. He says, Anugraha Eka Parataya Shreyskaraha Swa Atmarupa Parameshwaraha Yat Tvaya Mahyam Swa Eva Chanda Icha Yasya Tadrik Anargala Bhairava Rupa Abhidhayitvat Swachandam. So he is defining what is Swachandam. He says, Anugraha Eka Parataya. Even though Parabhairava is performs all the five krityas, Srishti, Sthiti, Samhara, Tirodhana, and Anugraha, where there is the predominance of Anugraha, the form where there is, or the functionality where there is the predominance of Anugraha. Anugraha is grace. So, Anugraha Eka Parataya, where that is, where that holds supreme. Shreyaskaraha, because that is the one that will bring about the highest benefit for the sadhaka. Sadhaka who is naturally now uh, tuned to search his identity, who is in the quest of his identity. So for him, the anugraha of Bhairava, which flows through the Guru Sampradaya, it reveals Swa Atma Rupa Parameshwara. That Parameshwara is Atma Rupa. And that Atma Rupa is not somewhere else. It is Swa. So in the word Swachanda, Swa. So where it is the Atma Rupa, okay, and that is the supreme consciousness or the supreme Shiva. Then Chanda. Chanda means Ichha. And by whose Ichha, by whose free will, Anargala Bhairava Rupa Abhidhai, one is able to realize himself as Bhairava. So, two things. We will understand our true nature of being Supreme Shiva only by the grace of Shiva. Until then, we will be caught in this cycle of samsara. So, this anugraha in our system is opened in the process of Diksha. Our path is an Agama Tantra path where the basic minimum qualification for anyone who is serious about the attainment of uh, Swanubhuti or Moksha, whatever you want to say, is through the Diksha. So, Swachanda is that graceful aspect of Parashiva which helps us in realizing our true nature, which happens during the process of Diksha. And we all know that in or during the Diksha, the Anugraha of Parameshwara is nothing but the Shakti's path, the descent of Shakti. Therefore, Devi is called here as Swachanda. Swachanda. The next nama is Kavi Priya. Kavi Priya, Kavi, we know poet. Priya, one who is uh, dear, one who is beloved of the poets. So she is called as Kavi Priya. Now, who is a Kavi? That is a very interesting question because we are using the term in its secondary sense. See, at times what happens, the primary sense of the word becomes hidden, and the secondary sense of the word becomes so popular in usage that we don't know what is the primary sense at all. Say, for example, the word Mata. The moment we say Mata, whether we know Sanskrit or not, everybody understands the word to mean mother. But when we go back to the origins of the word, its first occurrence, usage, etc., in the Vedic corpus, the word Mata is used to refer to the atmosphere. That is why winds or the maruts, they have one name by which uh, we have many Veda mantras. It is called as Matarishwa. Matarishwa is the Marudganas, the Sapta Marudganas, the wind gods, because they move around in the atmosphere. So Mata as a term originally meant atmosphere, the primary sense. Then second, later on, the word got changed, or the meaning of the word got fixed to mother. Now the word is more, the usage of the word is more to refer to mother rather than atmosphere. Similarly, the word kavi also. Kavi for poet is fine, but what was the original meaning in which the word kavi was used in in the Vedic text? For example, there is uh, one mantra in Rig Veda. Many mantras that this mantra where it goes. Kavim Kavina. It's a very popular mantra which is used for invocation of Ganapati. Gananam tva Ganapatim Havamahe Kavim Kavinam Upamashravastava. So the word Kavi is used there. So in what is the sense in which the word Kavihi is used? Kavi means Krantadarshi Kavihi. Krantadarshi, one who has the darshana, one who has the vision of things which are kranta, which are beyond the normal uh, uh, vision of ordinary people. So Kavihi is one who has the vision of things which are beyond the normal parlance. So the term Kavi was used to refer to people or the great or the wise sages, such as rishis, who were able to see what ordinary people could not. The rishis were able to see a certain harmony, okay, in the universe, which they called as Rita, and they were able to bring about the Veda mantras, okay, which was revelation of Parameshwara himself to the world. But this was not something that an ordinary person could do. So the word Kavi is used to refer to any such person who has a vision beyond, who can look beyond. So Kavihi in the original sense is a person having that kind of uh, vision. So when we refer to Devi as Kavi Priya, one who is dear to the Kavis, it is because the rishis or the great masters, they will look beyond the superficial. So they will go to the substratum on which everything else is superimposed. The world that we see is a kalpana, no, based on our thoughts. And we interpret the world based on our predispositions. Whereas uh, uh, a wise man or a kavi would be able to see the underlying truth or the underlying unity, which is the chit. So she is that underlying uh, uh, unity consciousness who can be seen by a kavi. Therefore, she is dear of a kavi. So she is Kavi Priya. The next nama,
सत्य आगम
Satya.
सत्य आगम
Satyagama.
Agama.
Now, for the rishis, when they see, what do? Their vision has to be transmitted to the world. And this transmission of knowledge happens in the form of codified texts. This set of codified texts is what we call as the Veda or the Agama. And the truths revealed in the Vedas and the Agamas are, in a sense, they do not require any external validation. They are it's self-validated knowledge. Let me explain what I mean. If I were to say that there is a book in the room, you may have to go and confirm whether the book is there in the room or not. Right? But until unless you have complete confidence that I will not speak anything which is not factual, you may have to go and validate the fact. Not only that, what I am saying is validated by the presence of the book in the room. If I say something and it is not there, then it is not a valid source of information. My words are not valid source of information. So this is where the validation is required from external sources. There is an external validity which is required for the worldly source of information. Whereas for the truths revealed in the Agamas or in the Vedas, we say that they are self-validated because it is coming from Parashiva himself, who is Sarvagya. Or else you will not have any source to validate it externally. Say, for example, how will you know that there is something called Swarga? I'm just saying, I'm using a very simple example. No one who has seen Swarga has come back and told you that there is a Swarga. Nor can you go and directly verify that there is a Swarga. Still, because it is there in the Veda, and the Vedas are established as the truths revealed by Shiva, and Shiva is Sarvagya, who is not corrupted by any of the impurities, any of the malas. The statements made are intrinsically true. That is why in this Nama, the word Satya is used before Agama. In the sense, the revealed texts like Agamas, they are self-validated knowledge. They don't require any external validity. So she is that. Okay, so coming to the continuity of the Nama, Kavi Priya, the rishis have seen the truths, and that truth is recorded in the form of the Agama. Now, don't think that I am contradicting what I am saying, because Agamas are revealed by Shiva through the rishis. Whether it is the Veda mantra, wherein we have one rishi for the mantra, or whether it is the Agama, wherein we start that there is a dialogue or a conversation which is happening between Bhairava and Bhairavi, or Devi and Shiva. And that dialogue is captured, okay, in one particular instant. And then it is transmitted, let's say, by Nandi to the Sanakadi rishis, or by Kartikeya to the other rishis. So it is these rishis who have seen the truth, uh, who are uh, who are codifying that knowledge. So Kavipriya, whatever they are seeing as the truths, as a self-validated knowledge, is codified in the form of texts which are self-validated, Satya Agama. The next nama, Bahi, Bahistha.
Bahistha.
Bahistha. Bahistha means one who is situated outside. Bahihi means outside. Stha means one who is there. So Bahistha, one who is situated outside. Now, the truths that have been validated and presented in the Agamas also have to correlate with our experience. If the Vedas, I'm not saying it is there, I'm just as an example. If there is a statement which says that the fire is cool and it is contrary to the experience, then what do we do? Then we will have to see, how do you explain that term? What is the intent behind the term? There is something called the principles of discourse analysis comes into effect. In our day-to-day parlance, if we have to understand this, the son is a teenager in the house. The mother is very much concerned about his health. He keeps insisting on junk food and kind of things. And he is very adamant he wants to go and buy a particular aerated drink, let me say Coke or a Pepsi or something like that. So he goes and tells mother, give me some money, I want to buy a can of Coke. Mother or the father says, better you go and drink poison. In Tamil, we have an expression, I don't know if there is something equivalent in Hindi, Veshata Kudi, which means better go and drink poison. Now, this is a statement which the mother is making to the son. How will you justify this statement? Definitely, mother is not intending to tell the son to go and drink poison, right? So this is where the principles of discourse analysis, how do you analyze the discourse according to the context, etc., and derive the meaning out of it comes to place. So the recorded statements in the Agamas, okay, have to be explained as per our experience of the world, which is Bahihi. Okay, Bahihi means if you have to put anything in words, okay, then it has to correspond to the experience that we have in the world. Words are nothing but the capturing of experiences. Otherwise, the words have no role or function to play at all. Words become activated only when there is an requirement for communication. And communication happens either internally or to someone else. So there is an idea that needs to be gathered and to be informed. So for that to happen, in the thoughts and things have to be presented outside. So Devi is Bahistha. She who is the fundamental is also the world of experience, which is captured and which is validated by the statements of the Agama. So she is Bahistha. I hope that thread is, the flow of thought in the thread is clear. Because it is these 4 or 5 namas, they make a very beautiful linear explanation. Okay, she is Bahistha, the experience which is outside. So there is a subject and the object part. Without the object, the subject cannot say, we cannot say that the subject is having an experience. Because for having an experience, there has to be something to be experienced. So that is the object part, which is Bahihi. Bahihi means outside the subjectivity. That does not mean it is independent of Devi. Okay? It is outside her role as the subject. So when there is a clear subject-object divide, she, when manifests as the object, she is Bahistha. Then the next nama,
काव्य शक्ति
I think we have to move the page, right? Kavya Shakti. The next nama is Kavya Shakti. Okay. So what is Kavya Shakti? This is where I was trying to tell the discourse analysis part. Kavya Shakti means Shakti, the ability to understand a meaning from a particular kavya. Kavya means a description or a word. She is that ability by which we are able to understand the meaning of a particular word. Let me give you 3 words. A simple statement, which I am saying, I have come home. We understand this particular vakyartha, the sentence meaning. Okay, some person has walked into the house. So there are 3 or 4 words. I have come home. 4 words, subject, okay, the verb, and the other location. There is no problem. The moment I finish uttering, the person hears, and there is whatever the word is conveying in its primary sense, I am understanding it as it is, and my understanding is communicated to the hearer, and he also has got the message. So communication loop is complete. Second sentence. Okay. When you want to say there is let's say you are having this Republic Day parade or something like that. So while describing that, if the commentary, one who is offering the commentary, if he says, okay, the tanks have come, or the tanks are now moving. What is the meaning of the word tanks are now moving? Is it only the tanks? Or is it the regiment of the tank? Because when you say regiment, it is the instrument plus the people. So there, what is happening is you are adding a little more information to the word tank and understanding. At times, say for example, where is your office? My office is right on Mount Road. How do we understand this statement? My office can't be on the road. It means that it is just on that road and not in some interior lane or something like that. So the word on the road is not understood in the specific sense of location, but in the sense of proximity. So here also what we are doing is the primary sense of the word on the road is not taken as it is, and we are just trying to get or derive a particular meaning from that. Okay, somewhere closer to proximity in that sense. There is a third thing. The mother comes and says, the sun has set. This is the statement. The sun has set. Suryast ho gaya. The father prepares for his evening sandhya. The mother goes into the kitchen to prepare the dinner. So each person have understood the meaning of it, but the implication is different. For the father, it means, okay, though the sunset has happened, you have to go and perform your sandhya, which is to be done at the time of the sunset. For the mother, okay, sunset has happened. Now that she has to go and start preparing for the dinner. So over and above the primary sense of the word, there is one suggested sense that is understood by two people differently. So if you see that how we understand the meaning from a particular word, there are predominantly three different ways. One is the primary sense understanding, secondary sense understanding, and the suggestive sense understanding. This is explained as the Abhida Shakti, the Lakshana Shakti, and the Vyanjana Shakti. All these three are the ways in which a particular words convey their meaning in a particular context.
Shekhar ji,
So,
sorry to
yes,
interrupt. If
yes,
this meeting closes, we have not renewed it, we will join again. Sorry for that.
yeah, sure, sure. So, when we refer to Devi as Kavya Shakti, what we are trying to say is she is the ability inherent in the words to express the meaning intended. Because only when that meaning is intended, you will understand that meaning. So the ability to convey the meaning which is intended is once again Devi. Just imagine a world where these Kavya Shaktis or this ability to understand the meaning is not there. Then the words will not make any sense to the listener. So the truths captured in the Agamas corresponding to the world, she is once again facilitating the process of understanding that statements also, understanding the words also. And without the usage of the words, the transmission of knowledge and all those things, we can't even imagine. Acharya Dandi, he says, Idamandam Jagat Krishnam Jayeta Bhuvanatrayam Yadi Shabdahvayam Jyotihi Asamsaram Nadipyati. This whole world will become full of darkness, full of ignorance, if the light of word were not to shine forth. Just imagine a world without words and communication. We can't even imagine such a situation. So the ability to understand, to communicate is also Devi. So she is the Kavya Shakti, the inherent ability to understand the meaning from a particular statement. Because if we don't know how to understand the Shastras, then we will not be able to derive the full benefit of the Shastras. So she has to teach us how to understand the Shastras also. That is why at times when we see the Vyakhyanas and the Stotras of the great Acharyas, Kuladeva and others, why are they so eloquently praising Shiva? Because if he does not give all these, we can't even imagine where we will be. He is giving the truth. He is giving it in a codified manner. He is validating it for us. And he is also giving us the ability to interpret the truths. All that comes from him. That is why the next nama is Kavitva Da. She bestows the Kavitva. She bestows the ability to see what is beyond the perception. So, with this, that entire the Nama loop is closed. It starts all the way from Kavipriya, goes to Satyagama, Bahistha, Kavya Shakti, Kavitvada. Once we understand the Kavya Shakti, ability to understand the Shastras and practice the Shastras, then same Devi finally gives us the ability to look beyond the perception, ordinary perception. So she bestows upon us the Kavitva. Kavitva, okay, ability to compose poetry, that's fine. But here Kavitva means the ability to look beyond. So going beyond uh, the kalpana, okay? Going beyond the thought constructs. That ability is provided once again by Devi. So she is Kavitvada. And that is why it is her infinite grace. Nothing but her grace. And there is, we can't even imagine uh, uh, why would anyone even be so merciful on us. So when we see the acharyas, melting uh, in the presence of Shiva, completely moved by his grace, it is all this. Okay. So he gives everything for you, and still we are such dullards that we don't even want to turn back. Anyway, so she is Kavitvada. Then is
Meena Putri.
Meena Putri. Meena was the wife of Himavat. So when Devi was born as Parvati, she is called as the Meena Putri. This is the from the Pauranika perspective, she is Meena Putri. What is Meena otherwise? Meena comes from once again the dhatu mana, to think, mana to imagine. Putri, the word putra means pum nama narakat trayate iti putraha. Putra is one who trayate, who protects you from going to a hell by name Pum. Pum nama narakat trayate iti putraha. So that is people who do not have children, they would not be entitled for the post-death rights, and therefore they will be subjected to certain yatanas or certain difficulties. So that was called as a naraka. So one who protects the parent from not undergoing that suffering is a putra. Okay. So let's take these two words. So mena comes from the dhatu manu, to think, the thought. Putri or putra, one who protects from the suffering. All right. So by referring to Devi as Mena Putri, we are referring to her aspect of the one who protects us from the conceptions, the thought constraints, which is making us believe in the reality of the world as distinct from oneself. So she protects us from these by bestowing upon us our true nature. Therefore, we look beyond the thought concepts. So, by referring to Devi as Mena Putri, we are referring to her aspect of one who frees us from the uh, from the belief system that we have convinced ourselves to be true. Then the next nama is
Sati Mata.
Sati
Sati
Mata.
Mata.
Sati